And I bet a lot of you have sent the children to school already, and you're sitting at home kind of debriefing a little bit, and you're thinking, gosh, my kids were jerks this morning. Why do they do this, all right? Have you ever noticed maybe your child, 1 minute they're laughing, the next minute they're like mad at you and they hate you, and you're like, what am I gonna do? And this doesn't affect just the girls.
No.
These boys too, Dr. Martha Durham.
Yes,
Thanks for joining us.
So puberty and hormones, we all kind of put those together, and you understand it causes moodiness, but I want you to understand some other things. Hormones affect your circadian rhythms, and that affects your sleep. So if you're not getting a lot of sleep, that moodiness is compounded. Now, for whatever reason, we were designed, when those hormones hit our body, we activate late at night. So you'll see kids wanting to stay up late at night, and you think they're just, you know, being rotten.
Yes,
and
procrastinating.
Really, it's a chemical thing in their body that's keeping them up. Then they have to get up early. Then they'll want to sleep all day on the weekends. And one thing I want to tell parents is try to keep them on a schedule, but let them get that extra sleep on the weekends, because they're growing and those hormones are making them go up and down, and so it's a good thing.
And females get the bum rap on this, right? Because it's guys and gals.
Oh my gosh, guys are terrible. We were just talking about boys don't know how to talk about it the right way to their parents. So sometimes they'll say something like, do you want to go throw a ball? You know, something, and they really want to talk about what's going on. Another thing that's happening is their brains are going through incredible changes, but they don't fully hook up till 20, 21 sometimes. So they're having all these hormones that are giving them intense emotions, and they're showing you those emotions, but their brains are still immature, so they're not handling them well, and they're not thinking straight. So when you're mad at your kids and you think they're just being spiteful, they're just being rude, understand it's like they took a crazy pill. I don't know how else to say it. And try to keep them in line and use your behavioral techniques, but be understanding that this is just a terrible time for kids.
So it's hard to discipline that, because there are times like right before school started and we knew we'd been staying up a little bit later because it's like, let's enjoy these last few weeks of summer. And Griffin, the 5-year-old, I mean, you can tell when he hasn't gotten enough sleep. I mean, you can tell he's a different kid. Once he gets sleep, he's great. So it's like, how do you discipline that? We kept him up later. It's our fault. Like, does he get in trouble because of a decision we made?
No, you own it, but then you try to, on average, get him to a regular sleep.
Babies that are ill, I mean, little babies, and the mother will say,
oh, she's sleepy.
She's sleepy.
Sleepy or hungry.
Is it similar in that sense?
It is the same. And let me tell you something else that's kind of interesting. Kids who aren't developing very fast, who were popular, will find they're not popular anymore. And kids who are developing faster suddenly become popular. And there's some social pressure to that. Kids get depressed and anxious. Why don't I have as many friends? Or why does that person have a ton of friends? And it's really that you're looking more like a grown-up and you're getting sexual attention, and that freaks kids out because they're not used to that.
Ready for that,
Yeah.
Well, how much sleep should a 16-year-old get, ideally?
Lord. I wish I had studied up on that to tell you, but it's a lot more than probably 10 to 12 hours would not hurt them. But I will get that answer and tell you. They need a lot more at that age because of all the growth that's going on.
So much. And so what do you do, especially for the girls that are being, you know, just like 1 minute y'all are besties and then the next one, because we always joke and I'm like, oh, Sophie's so sweet to me now, but I know I'm going to lose her around 12, and then she'll come back about 23. She'll be nice again.
Well, not only do
I want that period to be a good period. I don't want to lose my baby.
You can have it be a good period, but you have to adjust, and you have to be able to talk about it honestly and say, honey, I know you're feeling these ways. I know what's going on. Well, I do push a lot with my boys, but I'm just that way. But I like to tell parents to say, I'm here if you want to talk, and you can talk to me about anything. And I try not to shut down any conversation. You know, if my children say so-and-so's smoking, doing this or that, I don't get crazy and say, I'm going to do this and that. I say, tell me more, because I want them to talk to me when serious things happen.
And teens don't always want to talk to.
They don't, so they have to feel like you're safe to talk to.
And they talk sometimes at night when you're, or like random situations where like you're kind of done for the day, like you're ready to go get in bed and read a book, and that's, I know when mine will start opening up, so it's like, okay.
You got to stay up, mama.
Females mature physically quicker than guys. Does the moodiness start more with girls first?
Yeah, when you start puberty and adolescence, all that starts. So sometimes these days we're getting 4th and 5th graders doing that. And there's something about hormones we put in, foods, and You know, I know everybody can't run out and get all organic, but I try really hard not to add those hormones and things into my kids' diets.
Especially on the big things they do. Like ours drink a lot of milk, so the milk and chicken. I'm like, if I can at least do those two.
Caffeine and sugar, I'm sure that helps.
Oh gosh.
You see girls starting their periods now at 9.
At 9.
That's young.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. And so then you're getting that attention early, and that just really messes with you when you were a little kid, and suddenly you're having all these feelings, and you're
like,
ashamed, and you don't want to talk to mom and dad about
Martha,
it.
I think we figured out what part B of this conversation is going to be about. And then coming up later in the show, I'm going to remind people about a fashion show that's coming up Thursday for the Gamecocks that you're involved with.
The Sip and Shop is still on. Our store owner, Sally from Southern Girl Chic, had a disaster this weekend where her floors flooded. But we are moving everything, and we're supporting Sally, and we're still having the Sip and Shop. Stay tuned for location.
Sip and Shop.
Yeah, we talked about that last week on the show. I'll give you all the details.
She's so smart.
I know. That's what
I don't know about all that.
Smarter than you and I together.
By far.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.